Hello everyone, it is Joe here from Omnipoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon, and today we're looking at Gardevoir Xerneas. It's an archetype that I've loved in the past. It's got me my best result this season, and the list is really close to the list that I played way back in Leipzig, and a few people are tipping off this deck to be a decent contender once again, for a few reasons, and we'll go over them as we go through the deck as per usual. So, we're playing 3 Xerneas, the non-EX. It's a really great lead for the deck. The main function of the deck is similar to a Turbo Darkrai, where we're trying to ramp lots of energies onto the board, and this is basically our equivalent of non-EX Yveltal. Geomancy allows us to choose 2 of your bench Pokemon, and for each of those Pokemon, search your deck for a fairy energy and attach it to one of those Pokemon from the deck, which is very cool. It just gets your energy on board. Of course, Brilliant Arrow is the attack that we most profit from this, and it's going to be really good right now. There's a few energy denial decks out there right now. There's Umbreon sort of floating around, but mainly Lapras, and having such a powerful accelerator can outrun their hammers a lot of the time, which is very strong for you, especially when we have Mega Turbo and Super Rod in the list as well to try and remain ahead in terms of attachments. It really does help out. We do have the second attack, Rainbow Spear. For 2 fairy and a colourless, we deal 100 and discard energy attached. It's rare you'll ever want to use this attack, but it's an option to keep in mind if you really need to. One great thing about this card is that it just has 130 HP. It really helps out against things like Turbo Darkrai. It's a non-EX that they have to get through, really. And we normally get 2 or 3 turns to Geomancy, and that just builds a board so nicely for us. Makes me feel that Turbo Darkrai is a slightly favoured matchup for us, which is pretty good. And slightly favoured is all you really can be against Turbo Dark, because it's so consistent, and really it's trying to do the same thing as us. It's just we have resistance and slightly more HP, and we deal more damage, so that's why we feel like we're kind of ahead. We are playing a 2-2 split of Mega Gardevoir and a 3-1 split of the babies. Just one Life Leap EX version. I just like having the option for it. Life Leap can sometimes clutch random spots. You can knock out Magikarps, for example, if they've already put the stadium down and whatnot. Just random spots where this little poke can help out. It's actually decent against Turbo Darkrai as well, getting those initial 20s on. If you happen to lead this guy and go second, you can go for the Life Leap, and that's 20 less that you need to... You know, that's basically an energy less for your Primal Clash later on in the game, or even it counteracts the resistance that they have to this one. So there are times when this is useful, but overall, the Link Blast regular Guardi is the stronger of the 2. It's because of this attack. For a Fairy Colourless, we deal 30 base and 70 more if we have the same amount of energy attached to our opponent's active. This comes in handy against a few things. Think about Stage 1 decks, like Vespiquen. You can respond KO, especially if they play Klefki, where your Megas are useless. That's important. Additionally, it means you can KO things like Giratina. Against Dark Dragons, they oftentimes put a DDE on the Giratina because they feel like it's safe against a Mega deck like Guardi, but if you just Link Blast them, that's really good for you. You wipe off 40 damage, take 2 prizes, and you're chilling pretty much. So there are spots where Link Blast is very strong, and it's something to keep an eye on. Luminous Blade is also an attack, 2 fairy and a colourless, dealing 120, discarding an energy attached to ourselves. You can KO Shaymin, I guess, but really it's not going to be used too often if you can help it, but it's good to be aware of them. So, we are playing the Split Megas. I like playing 2 of this guy. I liked playing it back in the day, and I'm still a huge fan of playing 2, because you want to see it in every game. And I know that a lot of people are fans of the 3-1 split, but I feel like there are games when you can get away with just playing Despair Ray. 210 HP, Psychic and Fairy type, which is a big deal. Having 2 half Psychic versions of Mega Guardi means you do just win Mewtwo quite easily. You just one-hit KO them. You can also one-hit KO Hoopas and Shaymins, so this is a great way to clean up the board. After you've done your... Either you do it early game on like turn 3 or something. That's the early game for this deck because it is quite slow. You can take easy prize on Hoops and Shaymins late game, so there are options here. And I really like to start attacking with this guy before we ramp into this guy, because you set up a 2-hit KO, you tank a hit, you retreat for free with Fairy Garden, and then you finish things off with Brilliant Arrow. Then this normally tanks a hit, and by that time it's 1-hit KOing. It just works out nicely because then this gets KO'd because they have to deal with it, and then this guy's here to clean up the last Shaymin or the last Hoopa. It works out really nicely, just in theory, and also at the same time you're clearing Hoopas and Shaymins off your own board, forcing your opponent to get through big 210 HP Mega Gardevoirs. So I really like the 2 count. I think it's too important to play one of, so this is just how I like to play the deck. Again, resistance to Dark is good. Weakness to Metal is actually really good right now. Solgaleo is like the only thing out there, and that 1-hit KO is everything anyway. Sizzle's really gone downhill recently, so we essentially have no weakness, which is pretty good. And we have 2 types that we hit for weakness, so this card is just really good. I really like it. Even though it's not going for the big crazy 1-hit KOs like in the pure Despair Ray build, it's still really valuable in here. Then we have the 2 Primal Clash Megas. Again, 210 HP, that same resistance, which is important. And Brilliant Arrow does 30 times the number of Fairy Energy attached to all of your Pokemon for the cost of Fairy DCE. This is ramped up by the Xerneas, of course, and also supplemented by a couple of Mega Turbo. We're playing 10 energy, as you can see. It's not the highest count. I really like to play this deck as a mid-rangey build. I remember looking back and seeing previous lists of this and never really getting to grips with the Brilliant Arrow. It felt kind of slow and clunky, and I feel like I fixed that more in terms of the playstyle than the actual list itself. So I would advise to stick around for the games, because I think I play this list quite differently to a lot of other Mega Guardi players. So this is obviously a really good attack. When you get to those turns 5, 6, if you've been able to retain energy on your board, Brilliant Arrow gets absurd. You just get 1-hit KOs everywhere. Darkrai does not resist this one because we're not part Psychic, so we can get over them. It's very hard for them to hit 230, even in turn like 5. So this is just really good for you. It's good in so many matchups. Basically anything that can't just get 1-hit KOs on 210 HP Megas are going to struggle against this deck. It's only really 1-hit KO decks like Rainbow Force and Rayquaza that we really are scared of. Obviously to an extent Decidueye is a pain, but at least we have like double Hex and stuff like that. I'll get onto that later, but the idea is that we just ramp so much energy, especially because we pull them out of the deck. In theory at least, we have less dead draws as well, so the deck just functions really nicely altogether. We're playing double Hoopa, and I know a lot of Mega Guardi, or like this build of Mega Guardi only plays 1. I really love 2. You want to see this card at least once a game, so you got to play 2. Scoundrel Ring is fantastic for you. It's too risky to prize this card to play a 1-of, I think, because the deck is much slower than the Despair Ray build. You need to guarantee yourself Megas, and you want to have double Guardi down turn 1 so you can get Geomancy. So Hoopa's really important. It's going to help you get your Guardis out in the first instance, get you Shaymin to draw more cards, and we can always Despair Ray it off, so we'll free our bench space up anyway to play down the second Hoopa late game or mid game to find more Megas, because we only are playing a 2-2 split, so we don't naturally draw into the correct ones quite often. And it can also grab ourselves Shaymin as well for a late game out to draw some cards. So double Hoopa I absolutely love on the list. Double Shaymin as well, similar reasons. We can Despair Ray them off, so it's not really a prize issue to put them down, and they just draw you cards. Very good stuff. So that is the Pokemon count. We are playing single Super Rod. You could consider playing 2, simply because there's a Quad Lapras around, and it's an issue. It's not the hardest deck to beat for this list, because we are playing 10 basics, double Mega Turbo and Rod, and we fish out our energies with Geomancy, but you still have to be careful in the matchup. I still feel Despair Ray is the one that you go for. It's too risky to go for Brilliant Arrows unless you've somehow just overwhelmed them completely. Normally I like to sit there with just 2 Guardis out, both of them being Despair Rays, or you just have 1 Despair Ray, 1 non-Mega, but you have to be careful because they play Fury Belt and can one-shot these guys. So normally it's just 2 Megas that you just sit between, and you just have to be careful of the turn that they Ice Beam. You've got to have Rope or Switch available to you on those turns, but I feel like the idea is just Geomancy a bunch, then Despair Ray off the board, all the things that you don't need, and simply sit there with a Guardi with like 4 energy on each. Just let them flare grunt for a few turns. You've got Mega Turbo to keep you back in the game. It goes well for you, I think. So yeah, the 1 Super Rod is fine, potentially 2, but I don't really see a huge issue unless you happen to Sycamore it away in combination with like one of your important Megas, but it's rarely going to happen in my opinion. The 1-1 split of Switch and Rope, mainly because we have Skyla. Skyla can fish out the right one at the right time, at least in theory. So I like having the split option. It means that we can get the turn 1 Geomancy a little bit more frequently as well. If we don't lead it, we still have the option to attach to Xerneas switch into the active. So there we go, especially because we're not playing Max Elixir. Our chance of getting Xerneas into the active turn 1, if it wasn't our lead Pokemon, is significantly lower. We need to find one of our 2 switch cards, pretty much, so something to bear in mind. One of the issues of playing the Mega Turbo instead of the Elixir. But I am still a fan of Mega Turbo in general, because there's energy denial decks, and this ramps from the discard pile, so there we go. So yeah, that's why I'm playing 2 Mega Turbo over the Elixirs. Although we are playing 10 count, I could see the reason for playing Max Elixir. I think I'd have to play 3 Elixir to be comfortable. You probably just cut a Male or cut Kukui to fit in the Elixirs. I'm sure it's fine to try it out. I've just been a fan of having the spaces for Mega Turbo, and again, I'm concerned, probably overly concerned with energy denial right now, just because of what I've been playing and what I've been testing against. But personally for me, I'm happy with Mega Turbo. I've never felt the deck needs to hit like 3 Elixir, and especially when you start Geomancying, Elixir becomes a really dead card for you, and Mega Turbo just gets better for you in the late game. So 3 Trainer's Mail, the old 4 Ultra Ball, 4 VS Seeker, all the standard stuff. 3 Fairy Garden, it's a big card for so many reasons. It keeps our energy on the board and lets us still retreat between our otherwise heavy retreat Pokemon. Of course, we do Despair Ray off things like Hoopa and Shaymin, but it means that you can move between your Guardies, which is really important, especially because you lead with this guy often. At least I try to. You lead with this guy, punch something in the face for around 130 damage. Let's say we discard a Hoopa and a Shaymin off the board. Then you tank a hit, because the idea is we're not against a 1-hit KO deck. And then you just retreat with Fairy Garden and go into this guy, who's been set up by now, because you've been Geomancying to 2 targets this whole time. In a dream world, of course, and that means you've retained 2 energy on the bench. This is half damage, but because this is set up, they have to get through this guy now, and it's ready to, maybe it's not ready to 1-hit KO, but it's ready to finish off the thing that you hit earlier for 130, and then by the time the next turn comes around, this is probably taking a KO, so a 1-shot at least. So that's how we like to play the deck, at least in my experience and the way I've had most success with this list. So Fairy Garden allows that to be possible. It also means that we are much better against the Decidueye. It means that we can move around our dudes, and that's a really relevant thing to be aware of, because the Decidueye is a big deal. We are playing the single Skyla. I really like it. It's going to be our 5th Ultra Ball at times to find Hoopa. It's also going to be grabbing Spirit Links. Like I said, those switch cards at the important times. Even Fairy Garden to an extent is important. So Skyla just being the combo maker is going to be really nice for us. We are playing a single Professor Kukui. I know that this deck can ramp up to 1-hit KO potential. This just gets you there that much quicker, basically. You get a KO that your opponent maybe wasn't expecting, or you're 1 less energy, basically, sometimes with Kukui. So this is a pretty nice card, and not an awful card if you're in a pinch to draw a couple cards as well. We are playing double Hex Maniac. It's your only real way to be in the game against a Ray player. It's also very important against Volcanion, because otherwise they'll steam up a bunch and get all the energy off the board. And even in early turns against like Turbo Darkrai and other speedy decks like that, turn 1 Hex is going to be nice for you. Typically, we're more worried about our own side of the board. We're worried about trying to get the Geomancy off, so you won't do it turn 1 too often, unless you just happen to have led Xerneas and happen to have Hoopa in hand, and you can be pretty happy with that. But Hex is still going to be important, and of course it's inhibit Decidueye. Otherwise, we could be in a bit of bother. We can't put our links down. You can still just sit in Geomancy a bunch, but you need to go into your Megas at some point, and Hex is going to be important for that. And it means that we're not getting hit with damage that turn as well, so pretty good stuff. 2 Lysandre for picking off the things that we need to, all pretty standard. And then a 3-3 split of N and Sycamore. I always find that it's kind of clunky if you draw into hands after like post Shaymin And if you've just got things in the wrong sequence, you'd rather end your hand away than Sycamore it away, because you always just have things in the wrong sequence. You have Megas in the hand before the Spiralinks, or you have Turbos in hand before you've got your Megas and stuff like that. So I like the 3-3 split, especially because we're not that quick. N is fine, in my opinion. So that's what we're going for. 4 Spiralinks, just because we aim to get the Guardies out as quickly and consistently as possible. So there we go. And then just the 10 Fair Energy. Quite a large amount. Plenty to find to turn attach every turn, to ramp up Brilliant Arrow, as well as Geomancy a couple times quite comfortably, and still have attachments to carry on with. So, additions and changes for the deck. It's weird because I really like this list and I'm really happy with it, but there are a few things you could look about. Changing. Fairy Drop's a card that I actually played in Malmo when I did well with this deck, and it's still pretty good. Being able to Hex Maniac and Fairy Drop against Decidueye is a big deal. It sets them back sometimes a turn, sometimes 2 turns, because of the Hex on top of the Fairy Drop. It's like you've healed 100 or 110 if they have 2 or 3 Decidueyes out. So Fairy Drop can be a big deal. In a similar regard, you could just play Pokemon Center Lady if you're trying to tech for Decidueye. This is also an option for you, and it sort of fits the theme of the deck anyway, because we're trying to retain energy, which means healing can sometimes push you out of range of even a 2-hit KO. So PCL is also a consideration. And there's also the big debate of Elixir v Mega Turbo. Right now, I'm happy enough with the Mega Turbo. I never saw a reason to change when I was testing the deck way back when, like a couple of months ago now. So that's why I've basically just stuck with Mega Turbo, but Elixir could be a viable choice as well. So I don't really see many other options. Maybe a few supporter cards, techs, but really I think the deck is too clunky to really mess around with. The core of the deck is like 58, 59 cards really. So you can't get too creative with this list, unfortunately. There's not too much space to make changes, in my opinion, so it sort of figures itself out in a way. So let's save this up, hopefully it works, and we will jump into the ladder and have some games with one of my favourite pet decks. So let's see how it goes. A few matchups that we want to avoid, like I say. Rayquaza is hard, Rainbow Force is hard, Decidueye could be better. Obviously it depends who goes first, and if they get the good hand that gets them into Vileplume or not turn 1. And how much else they get to do on their turn. But we'll have a look here. We're up against Chomp, I should say, and we're playing Water Psychic, so my first reaction is Lapras. So having Geomancy is going to be pretty clutch here. At least we hope. Let's mulligan. Yep, looks like Lapras. We see Water Energies and a Crushing Hammer. That can only mean one thing. Double mulligan. So the idea is to just use double Despair Ray this game, if possible. Ugh. This is why we play 2 Hoopa. We're chilling. We are chilling right now. In before prize Hoopa. Well, let's see how many mulligans. The only good news about Lapras getting mulls is that it really isn't a proactive deck. They'll probably just attach pass anyway, unless they have Skull Grunt. Yep, it's Lapras. Is it going to be attach pass? Attach Fury Belt pass? Attach Fury Belt Nest Ball pass? See how elaborate they want to go. Well, they're thinking about something. Nest ball. Lapras number 2. And the pass, just as I expected. This is a good hand to cycle. Didn't prize Hoopa. Feels good. Let's have a look. Rod and Turbos are in here. We only have Switch. We don't have Rope. We have all 3 Gardens. 6 energy. So we prized 3 energy. So it's going to be important for us to take prizes as quickly as possible, which is not a good thing when you're up against Lapras. But we'll see how it goes. We've got the double turbo and stuff, so we can do things here. When most decks are really concerned about conserving bench, Gardy doesn't really have to be, because all we need to do is get 1 Despairay off and we're chilling. So let's just do our normal setup. We have the liberty to do that other decks don't have. Such a strong hand. They didn't Skull Grunt us last turn, so there's not a high chance they top deck and play it, right? That's what we'll tell ourselves. Yeah, just a collect. Very slow turn for them. So, let's attach Mega. And that'll do for our turn. We could just play Switch, VS Seeker Skyla, play Switch now. Despairay. I guess we could put them under the pressure. We have 2 energy in hand. Okay. We can do this. We can do this. They don't know it's our only Switch card. Try and hunt down the Lapras before they get enough energy to Ice Beam. That's the idea. Flagrant Hammer scares me a bit, but they didn't Crushing last turn, so it has to be out of their 3-card collect. Plus the top deck, so they had an over 40-card deck, so it's less. It's just less than 10% chance they drew into one of their Crushings, and even then there's a 50-50 that it fails. So we're feeling good about this. We're thinking, we're talking, we're doing things. Rough Seas is currently not that relevant unless they're going for a delinquent turn, which would suck. I mean, they have a large hand, so there's going to be some things they can do here, surely. You're Lapras, you're full of options. There's the heal. Yeah, there's the Flare. I don't mind Flare Grunt if it's not followed up by a Hammer. If it's Flare, attach here, collect. That sounds most reasonable. Unless they can switch. Ooh, not even an attachment. That's very good for us. Very good news. Let's not play games. Let's just deal with this guy. 2 prizes taken, all energy off the board currently. We're racing them. Racing them down. Feels good. There's an attachment. Flare Grunt. Any Crushings? No. Ooh boy, things are happening. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's a large hand. Could make it much smaller. I'm gonna dig for some Pokemon here and get a Despair Ray in. Potentially get some Mega Turbos. This is a good card to get. Spirilinks aren't bad either here. Okay, there's a Turbo. And we'll play N. Try and limit their outs. And cycle as well a little bit. Only concern about attaching Spirit Link is that we go into delinquent range. I could just clear my entire board here, huh? I'm not worried about anything else. Okay. Goodbye board. Puzzle of Time. Get some Lapras energy. Okay, that makes sense. Game ain't over. Flagrant. Switch. And a collect. Okay. It's Kukui. Can't sell some Lysandres, which could be important. I imagine we'll be losing some energy in a minute though. One turbo left, still lots of energy, still super rod. Lots of damage on their dudes. This is good. 3 of their Flagrants gone as well, so I've only got pretty VS Secrets out, unless they, well, some play 4. Okay, this one plays 4. It's between 3 and 4 typically. Lapras number 4. Can they switch into it? It's an energy to Lapras. Collect. Top deck energy, please. Please, top deck energy. Oh no. We're in trouble now. We're in trouble because we could just get Ice Beamed and lose the game. So I need to Sycamore this hand. Oh. We have a 50-50 of taking Escape Rope off these prizes. And if we do, I think we win. So if I Ultra Ball and don't take... if I don't Ultra Ball here, it's pretty greedy, but I think it's correct. Will Super Rod just 3 energies in? Come on, Escape Rope. Yay. Oh, that is the best 2 cards we could have asked for. They're gonna Ice Beam Flare Grunt, right? Every time here. Every time. Oh, Boo! None of that. None of that. None of that today. Do they win now? Top deck Fairy Garden. No, Lysandre. Crushing Hammer means no Lysandre. Otherwise they just play it. Okay, it's going to be a collect turn. They have 4 times... Ooh, okay. Gross. Can't really afford to play it just in case they hit the Lysandre. Oh, we were so close. Well timed end from the opponent. Please no Lysandre. More crushings means no Lysandre. That's a fact. Even just an energy is bad for me here. Hex hurts 0 of our outs. It's already on our discard. They've got a lot of heal though. Well, nothing I can do. Otherwise, hope they don't have an energy, right? There's no other. I don't have a line here, so we just have to play what we can play. Oh, we were so good for it. Damn, son. That's well played. We were very close to tempoing out on them. I don't often go down that route. I normally go for like Geomancy, secure the board, do your thing, but because of their slow start, it was so tempting to go for that. Lured us in. And we never really stabilized after it. I think my end was where I started to lose control of the game. Interesting. Let's find another game. That was close with Lapras. Interesting. It was all set up for us as well. The 2 perfect prizes, and then they just get waved goodbye. I mean, I know you should expect to get end when you go down to 2 prizes, but we thought about it. We had a little discussion. What we're trying to do, what our next turn plays are, and then nah. Oh boy, we've hit the auto loss, or one of the auto losses. Maybe not. They're playing Rainbow Ninja Boy, but they're also playing Elixir. Holy. Maybe there's a chance. If they play Specials and Elixir, they have much less chance of hitting the elixirs, and maybe we can just do things. We could lose in a turn, of course, because our hand is pretty whack. Oh, why didn't you play that? Unbelievable. Well, must be nice. Okay. Sycamore is safer, but these are resources, and I don't think we can never use Brilliant Arrow, so we really need Despair Ray to win this game. So less safe, but long term in mind, we have to end here. Not punished. Must be nice. Am I roping first to make it harder for them? Yes. Force them to find a switch card on top of an energy and whatnot. If they play Fury Belt, it's important to get the Life Leap out. Oh no, they play Skyfield. What am I saying? Just do this, I think. Yeah, we've got the N in hand. We can just take this. I think I'm content to not Shaymin here. We'll just Geomancy. Because even if I find the link, do I even want to attach it? We're so vulnerable right now. I'd rather just keep both targets equal rather than just say, oh hey, one's got a link on, KO this one. We'll see. We'll see how crazy their turn goes. Ideally not that crazy, but who knows. 2 elixirs gone already and they've not even played them. This is intriguing. Oh, Fury Belt is so scary. Right. Ninja Boy Jolteon for free retreat? Yeah. Makes sense. Guarantee the KO. But now they need more Xerneas. Can't rely on just this guy, can they? Ah, shame. Well, I think it's a hit. Wonder how many Rainbow they play. Maybe just like 1 or 2. Makes sense if it's 1 or 2 rather than like 4 and 4. Okay. Oh, the top deck dream. Feels good, man. So we have 130 damage. We need to keep Skyfield in play, so we can't put Fairy Garden in. It's a pretty big end. We need to hit our other Hoopa. Or Ultra Ball. Oh, double Hoopa. Boys, it's all coming together. $120, $130, $140, $150, $160. Yeah. clutching it. Absolutely clutching it today. Do I need to draw more cards here? I think I do. I need to have a backup VS Seeker, so I'll sack off this Spirit Link just on the chance to get a VS for next turn. I'm assuming we're getting KO'd and we'll be sad and stuff. Oh, I misplayed. I still should have linked here on the off chance I got Ultra Ball. That was a error by me. Because now I can get a card that we can discard anyway and keep this guy. That was a small error, but it could be a big deal. Okay. Did I miss the Shaymin? Oh no, okay, cool. It was, the Shaymin was shaking. The game was like telling me to play it, and I was like, I did. Man, that shook me up. Whew. Okay. Let's see what they have in response. Elixir Whiff, good news. Fury Belt, bad news. VS Seeker, bad news. DC is definitely bad news. As long as it's not an EXP share, I'm happy. Okay. Let's turbo it up. Attach. I need to Sycamore because I need to get N next turn. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7 on their bench. So they just get rid of double Shaymin, I guess. Which means they keep, or like they get rid of Hoopa and Shaymin. No, Shaymin and Shaymin. Makes sense. Okay, that works too. We need to get back this guy, and probably just this guy. Or we could just, because we have Ultra Ball in hand, we could just go Hoopa for these two. So that's all we really need next turn. Okay. We're not panicking. We're chilling. We're hoping. The idea is this gets KO'd. They attach one this turn. They're down to one card. We KO this. N. Hope. This is the auto loss, so this is as close as we could make it. Could have Ultra Balled first actually, got the Hoopa early, and done an extra 20 damage. 20 damage isn't that relevant. They're going to Sycamore themselves down to 4 cards. Put Skyfield in. Basically just play all the unplayables. Shouldn't have played the Trainer's Mail. There's no card that helps him here, right? I can't think of a trainer that he wants in hand. Unless he can Ultra Ball 2 dead cards now to like even it out. Special Charge is a card that he wanted. That's really bad for us. Special Charge is horrible for us. We need to clutch the Spirit Link top deck as well. A little bit. I haven't seen a single switch card yet. Oh my god, we survived. That's unexpected. Whoa, hold on a minute. That's incredible. That's really something I wasn't expecting. Well, what now? It's the same plan, it's just we have an extra turn to do it. They're not going to play more than 2 Fury Belt. No one has space for that sort of stuff, right? Right. Is our last Spirit Link in here? Yeah, but so Skyla, okay. Can't believe we actually tanked a hit against the Rainbow Force deck. It's not meant to happen. Wasn't in the script. Three cards to get Skyla or Link. Yeah, it wasn't high chance. We can Kukui for 2 more cards. I think that's our best thing, because this hand is still good to hold. We can't Sycamore, obviously, because we've got the Guardian hand. Ooh, 1 in 3. That's just no fun. We'll take the end here. Let them know we have it. Keeping this hand is perfect, actually. Yeah. I tried to take 2 prizes. I'm so used to just KOing EXs, and it feels like it's an EX because it's so strong. Okay, the final boss. No N and no Fury Belt. That's all I want here. Is that too much to ask? Oh my goodness, they attached elsewhere. Twist in the tail. They can attack with more than this guy. But do I care, is the question. I can... Oh, the combo. The Rainbow Energy Shaymin EX combo. Love it. Playing his deck to his fullest potential. That's great. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So... We'll be the one racing, I think. They promoted the Xerneas, so they're happy to take the KO here. Kukui OP. Oh, still no Spirit Ink. Jeez. We'll continue to attach to this guy because we might have to Mega. to end this game. I want to get rid of some cards. Okay. I think we're going to do it. I think we're going to clutch the auto loss. Depends on this N though. Oh, no N. Are you crazy? We'll Mega and our win condition is now Lysandre. 3, 6, 9, 12. We're at 15. This guy gets eaten up. As long as there's no Ninja Boy into 4th Xerneas, I guess. Okay. We got there. Whew. Clutched it. I mean, it's not your average Rainbow Force. Maybe that was a contributing factor, but getting over double Fury Belt was impressive for our deck, if I do say so myself. Let's have one more game, and we'll be good to go with this deck. We've been improvising quite a bit, but justified a few cards in the deck, like Kukui in random spots. It's just a math fixer. It's a grass colourless deck, so you would assume Decidueye. This is always a challenging matchup, and losing the flip is always a problem. Never not a problem. Such a beautiful start for us. It's exactly what we need, other than energy. Oh, it's Lurantis. Is Lurantis Plume worse? No, Lurantis Plume is better. Maybe it's not Plume, maybe it's just Lurantis. Who knows? We can always be hopeful, right? Energy's all we asked for, so... It is Vileplume. Okay. Let's see if they've got it. Got the forest, got the energy. Got some Shaymins to play, I imagine. There's an Ultra Ball. Told ya. Lurantis Plume is quite a consistent Vileplume compared to Decidueye. Oh, they've got Gloom. They could just choose to go empty hand and guarantee it. If they have Shaymin, this hand is absurd. Okay. They could have Ultra Balled and thinned an extra, Level Balled and thinned an extra card there. Oh, whew, we did it. We got lucky. Oh, what? Don't concede. That's not nice. Man, I was thinking about things. Thinking about my prospects. Well, that doesn't count, does it? Let's have a real game. I saw metal. I'm scared. Are we really going to face a Solgaleo deck? Is someone still playing Scizor on the ladder? All these questions. Could be Mewtwo Magina at a push, I guess. Oh, starting Xerneas for days. This is great. The opponent's deciding what to do here. Oh, the joys of double Hoopa, everyone. The joys. That's what we like. Do I just get more? I don't see why not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fill the bench? Sure. The only reason not to is if I need to Shaymin again. It's only 3 cards, but we really don't need much. And those are really good cards, so we'll pass. Let's see what we're up against. Ordino? Huh. Well, if it plays Magina, this is hard, so... Basically, we're getting over Maginas. I only mentioned Magina because of... I saw the energy type in the opening. The World's List played Magina, so... Oh, thanks. That's very kind of you. Wow, that's a slow start for them, which is obviously great news for us. We could go nutty here if we hit Spirulink and then a Sycamore. I'm just going to call out the cards that I want and see if it happens. Pretty much. This is disgusting. Do we need Shining Wind in this game? We might. So we'll keep this one as the open one. How disgusting. This is just not right. This is just not fair. Not going to play the Link because I believe I need to Ultra Ball it next turn. Well, I might do. Depends what we draw. We've hit a bit of a slump, but we can just sit in Geomancy. They haven't developed anything. Definitely Metal Energy's in there. Silent Lab they could have put down. Oh, they play Lugia, so that's something to get through. Floatstone to Hoops. Ultra Ball. Maybe now is the time for their Metal Techs. Oh, it's Cobalion. Cobalion's easier to get over. That's much less scary. Sky Return. Oh, that's why they didn't Silent Lab. Because they need to draw cards. Oh, they're feeding me 2 prizes. TYVM. Skyla top deck is pretty dirty here. Rope is pretty dirty here as well, actually. Oh, there's a lot of dirty things going on here. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. We're skylaring for Stadium. Wait. We prize 3 stadiums, huh? That's a problem. Of sorts. No. Well, take a Sycamore then, won't we? Let's just set up all the Guardies. And just say, you know what? This is a big board. They're in a bit of trouble here. They found a couple Ordino, but it's only after losing 2 Link, 2 Ordino themselves. 1 Mega Turbo's gone as well. This has really just been pretty sour for the opponent. They have managed to find a Spirit Link at least. $60 is fairly relevant because it puts it into Ordino range, so it does make sense. We're going to rope here. It's going to feed us Hoopa, so we'll just go into this guy. Get rid of all our Ultra Balls. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Yeah. I think we want 2 of this one. These are the more threatening, and we've built a board now, so... Sometimes it's okay to leave it open, but when we're losing all of our Ultra Balls, it's not really. Not really okay. Take a cheeky knockout. There we go. That's what we're after. Some stadiums. I think I can even ignore Cobalion to an extent. If I can keep getting 1-hit KOs. We can Skyla for Garden. Ooh, Delinquent. Well, I've just been end, so it's fine. Attachment to Cobalion. Super rodding some Ordino back, I would imagine. Yep. Time for Skyla to do what she should have done a long time ago. Just to make sure my Shaymin's in here. Yeah. Makes this better. Much better. We don't need the other dudes. We just need an energy. I'm going to play the Super Rod because it's not going to be a problem in this game. We're already getting to the end game state. 4 draws. Not too many energy in the deck, but could get Mega Turbo. Lysandre's good. Oh, we don't need energy. What am I saying? We've got 3 on this guy, right? We're chilling. Just the casual 240. Not bad. Not bad. Okay. They can't even N us, so that'll be it. And there we go. That was a really random matchup to run into. But we're showing our prowess as a powerful and awkward deck to play around, and given enough time, this deck gets nuts. So that'll do today for Mega Gardevoir. Again, like I say, one of my favourite archetypes that I've been playing a lot this season. I've played both builds. Right now I feel Gardy probably just is more equipped to deal with the format. And its damage output is pretty important in a few games as well. So yeah, that's the list. It's done well for me in the past, and it seems to be the format is shifting back into the favour of a deck like this. Obviously there is the issue of Rayquaza gaining some hype, but it depends on how many people actually pull the trigger on the deck in large scale tournaments, especially because there's a few Yveltals getting more popular right now. I know Azul popularized a pretty good list, and there's other Parallel City decks forming as well, so, or making a comeback at least. I know Turbo Darkrai sometimes plays them. If not, they're playing Lab. Both are awkward for Ray, so there's things that Ray has to be concerned about, but regardless, I still think this is a strong archetype and can take on quite a few different lists right now in the metagame. So leave your comments down below what you thought about this list and the battles and anything else, the channel in general. I'd love to hear from you. Subscribe to the channel if you've not already, and leave a like to this video if you did. For now though, it's been Joe from Omnipoke, and I'll be seeing you guys next time.